don't get scared now.
I did not mean to click on that. Good evening, folks. Hope you had a good work week. This is Jagger Newman for Bladeslinger Plays, and today we are taking another look at the Resident Evil series, a bit sooner than I intended. Though today we are looking at the Resident Evil Remake. This game was released in 2002 and was again made by Konami. It was also directed by Shinji Mikami, who at this point in the series hadn't made a game since Resident Evil 2. That was the last one he worked on. And what's interesting about the Resident Evil Remake is that it was the first game in a partnership for between Nintendo and Capcom. One of the issues Nintendo ran into with the Nintendo 64 was that most of what came out for it was, more kid-friendly, I guess you could say, than what was available on the PlayStation. Though there were some adult games like Turok Dinosaur Hunter and Doom 64. When you think of games on the N64, the first stuff you think of is Mario 64, Banjo-Kazooie, Diddy Kong Racing. Pretty far removed from Resident Evil. So Nintendo wanted to fight that perception when they came out with the GameCube because they were pretty far behind Sony, and with Microsoft entering the fray, they figured they needed to step up their game. So they went to Capcom, who they still had a decent relationship at the time, despite the fact that they didn't really support the Nintendo 64, and inquired about making Resident Evil a exclusive franchise to the GameCube. Capcom agreed, and so they started making games exclusively for the GameCube. And the first game they made was the Resident Evil Remake. When this game came out, it got really good reviews. It was a huge improvement on the original game. The technology was incredible. It was actually scary, and it sold decently well too. But it sold a lot less than what Capcom was making, and the reason for that is obvious. It was a Resident Evil game on a Nintendo console, and most of the series' fan base was on probably the PlayStation 2. It's the same reason why the Oddworld series ended up falling off the face of the map. Like, all those games, most of them, were on the PlayStation. They had a few Resident Evil games that were on the Sega Saturn, Sega Dreamcast, and even a port of Resident Evil 2 from the Nintendo 64. The majority of the games were on the original PlayStation, and everyone probably expected Resident Evil to move to the PlayStation 2 as well. So the game would not necessarily flop, but not do as well as Capcom was hoping. Then Resident Evil 0 came out, and that actually did flop. And by that point, Capcom realized their mistake, so they sort of eased their way out of the deal with Nintendo, and they kind of got out of it just as they were finishing up on Resident Evil 4, which only ended up being a timed exclusive for the Nintendo GameCube, even though it shipped with only 4 Nintendo GameCube on it. I think the PlayStation version was announced maybe a month later or so. I'm not exactly sure. But the remake would remain exclusive to Nintendo consoles for a couple of years. It was ported to the Wii after the GameCube bit the dust. But then towards the end of the, I want to say, 7th generation consoles, they released an HD remaster of the game for all platforms. Like, you got it on PlayStation, Xbox. It's on Nintendo Switch now and PC. And because of that, the game has now garnered a very wide audience and is the definitive way to play Resident Evil. So some of you guys might be wondering why I'm playing this game specifically instead of moving on to the next horror game. Well, the primary reason for that was I intended for Fatal Frame to be the next game on the list. And then after that, I was going to play The Suffering, but the copy of Fatal Frame that I ordered is going to make it here in time. And because of that, I'm going to have to push The Suffering back to next year. So plan B was to do the Resident Evil Remake. which I'm okay with because one, it's just a major improvement on the original, and I kind of want to show that because it's just amazing how much one generation can be. So I'm playing this off my PS5. So really you can play this anywhere these days. This is a very widely available game. Do a quick sound check. Amazing how much. Alright, let's go ahead and get this started. Shame Capcom doesn't do that animated logo anymore. Huh. Well, whoever was holding that camera just gave a great big nope. Okay, so I'm not terribly fond of this new logo. The background with the eye looking through the peephole, that's creepy, but the logo, it just doesn't have the same impact that the bright red bold logo of the original had. But don't take that as a sign of things to come. That was just a poor choice on their part. And of course it has to load for some reason, doing that, syncing everything up. Funny how so many consoles have to do that. No, I do not want to register for this crap. I just want to play my game. How dare you? This game doesn't even have any online features. Why would I want to do that? I just played this yesterday. It shouldn't be doing this stuff.
Resident Evil.
And of course they have to have the announcer say the name. That's just a no-brainer. Okay, I'm going to stick with widescreen for controls. I'm going to stick with alternates. And of course we're going to leave the subtitles on. So I'm pretty sure this is just a difficulty setting. So by default it looks like it's on hard, which is funny. I'm going to put it on normal. And just like the first game, you have the choice to choose between Claire and Chris. And one thing that's a nice touch is you have the option to choose some of their newer designs, but what's funny is the character models, the new costumes are just kind of plastered on them. So like Chris, for example, like this muscular version of Chris you see here, it has the same awkward posture that the regular Chris has, so it just looks off. But we're going to play as Chris. I played as Jill for the original game, so we'll give him a go. Due date.
Alpha Team is flying around the forest zone, situated in northwest Raccoon City, where we are searching for the helicopter of our compatriots, Bravo Team, who disappeared during the middle of their mission.
Well, the voice acting is certainly better, I'll give that.
Bizarre murder cases have recently occurred in Raccoon City. There are outlandish reports of families being attacked by a group of about 10 people. Victims were apparently eaten. The Bravo Team was sent in to investigate, but we lost contact.
Look, Chris.
Bravo Team's helicopter was a derelict.
Looks more like a wreck.
Save for the remaining body of Kevin.
Aren't you guys supposed to be military commando? Shouldn't you have seen worse than this?
And it turned into a nightmare.
It's also good that this CGI cutscene as opposed to the live action one. One, because it better represents the gameplay itself. Therefore, there's not a connection there. And it just looks better. And they know now they don't have to censor it like they did with the original game. with the release of the 6th generation consoles, like that's when video games kind of threw off the shackles of everything being for kids. So games could be as violent as they wanted, despite what social justice warriors would have you believe. That is violent. I shouldn't be smiling at that because that is horrifying. That is violent. I shouldn't be smiling at that. Those dogs look grotesque, don't they? You couldn't really get a good look at them in the PS1 game. The animation's a little stiff, but still, I would call this a marked improvement. Not sure what's up with Jill's shoulder pads, though.
Hey, Brad! Where the hell's he going?
Away.
Chris, this way.
Sort of missed the opportunity for the title there. That would have been a good throwback.
Damn it! Make for that mansion!
Enter the world of survival horror. Again.
I've been in the world of survival horror for a while now. And tomorrow's only the start of October.
Left now. Captain Wesker, Jill, and myself. We don't know where Barry is.
He'll be fine.
Is everyone all right?
Barry. Where's Barry?
He's...
No. What was that?
There was a gunshot.
I'll go and
Idiot.
check it out.
All right. Jill and I will stay and secure this area.
Sure you will.
Chris? Take care.
Yeah.
Seriously, what are those things on her shoulders? You still got the door transitions. That's something you had to have. Okay, so as always, we're going to talk about the controls. And I didn't realize this last week, but Resident Evil actually does what I said Silent Hill should do. So the D-pad still has the standard tank controls, but you also have free analog control with the analog stick. So you can sort of go back and forth depending on your needs. But there's actually not a point to that in Resident Evil because, I mean, let's face it, the game uses fixed camera angles, so you kind of want to use tank controls for this game. And thankfully, the tank controls aren't anywhere near as sluggish as they are in the original game. Of course, pick up an ink ribbon, which apparently I missed when I was playing the game last week. Not last week, the week before. And looking at this game, you can definitely tell they've overhauled the graphics big time. For starters, the level of detail here is just amazing. Looking at this, you guys probably think this is a 3D environment, but would you believe those are still pre-rendered backgrounds? And like just the way they gel together with the characters, I mean, it looks amazing, doesn't it? There are actually lighting effects now too. You can actually see a shadow there when I'm near the fire. The detail between the character models and the backgrounds is closer too, so yeah, this looks really good. If you have to do the pre-rendered backgrounds and stuff, this is the standard in my opinion. And of course, we're going to go through the door. We're going to have our first encounter with the zombie. And all I've got is my knife. And that is far. Even the eye looks at you. That's so creepy. Thankfully, this one doesn't chase you into the dining hall. But Barry isn't here to blow its brains out either, so I guess we'll just run back to the main hall. See if Jill and Wesker are there. And they're not.
Wesker? Jill?
Why am I talking about this like I haven't played this game before?
Where did they go?
If I had to guess, they must be somewhere on planet Earth. Now you get Trusted Pistola. And look at that, there's even a reflection on the ground there. Say what you will about the GameCube, but it was definitely rocking that power back in the day. The main issue the GameCube had was mostly memory capacity. Nintendo opted to stick with proprietary small disc as opposed to standard size CDs or DVDs. Mostly an effort to fight off piracy. And that just kind of bit them in the ass. A lot of people wanted to make bigger games, and it was just better to do that on the PlayStation and the Xbox. There were plenty of great games on the GameCube. It's just, you know, there was also a lot of good stuff on the PlayStation and Xbox too. A lot of which you couldn't get on the GameCube, so it just kind of made sense to buy one of those instead. I remember when I was a kid, I wanted a PlayStation 2 when I was a kid, even though I was a GameCube kid, mostly because I just wanted to play Sly Cooper. That's something else I need to play for the live stream at some point. Where are you, buddy? The corpse of your comrade Kenneth. Looks like he's holding something. It's the film that belonged to Kenneth. I need a video player to see what's recorded on it. So we need to find a VCR. Haven't seen one of those in forever. I wonder where that zombie got off to. Man, that lighting is just gorgeous, dude. Like, let's go back for a second. Like, you see the little dust particles there on the left? Dude, that's just gorgeous. It actually looks like this place has seen better days, too. It doesn't look as clean as the PlayStation game. And the way that chandelier is swinging back and forth. Dude, this is such a good-looking game. Always want to have ammo. And there's a corpse collapsed on the floor like this. An instant death. What the hell happened in this mansion? Wait, are those shackles on the wall? Oh boy. It's also a lot easier to see stuff in the environments than there was in the original game too. One, because the lighting is better, and most items that are interactable have like this pulsating sheen to them, which does look a little hokey, but for the sake of gameplay, I appreciate that. Another good solution to that problem is in Silent Hill, where if there's something you can interact with, your character will turn their head to look at it, which naturally draws your attention. Really good design there too. I thought about playing Silent Hill 2 for the stream this year too, but I decided I'm going to save that for when the remake eventually comes out. I really hope they don't screw that up. Ah, there's a zombie. You see that in the mirror? Yeah, so just like in the original game, Chris, I guess, isn't as good a shot as Jill, so his guns don't do as much damage. And he also only has the 6 inventory slots, which means that he can only carry so much. I remember when I was taking notes for this game while I was playing last night, I accidentally clogged up my inventory earlier than I intended to, and that kind of left me without ammo, which is frustrating. Chris can take more damage, but I would definitely take greater damage output and inventory spaces over that, because you're trying to avoid taking damage in the first place anyway. And that music. Yeah. Very ominous. We're gonna examine this thing. Got some more ammo. You want to hoard as much of that as possible. This is a survival horror game after all. The general combat in survival still operates on the same rules as the original game. So you do want to exercise restraints if you have to pull the guns out. And of course there is a zombie over there. So when I was playing the original game, I talked about choosing your fights, and this is a good example of an instance where you don't want to take out an enemy. So it's very easy to outrun the zombies because they just lumber like that, so I can just move away from him and he won't be able to get me. And because this balcony here makes a circuit, it's very easy to just get around this guy. And we're gonna push this over though. Just a quick puzzle. Yeah, it's very easy to avoid the zombies if you got room to move around like this. Makes me think of the scene in Zombieland 2 where they're talking about the different zombies that they've encountered. Some of them are just so easy to circumvent that they don't even try. They call them homers. A dagger. So one mechanic that the remake does introduce are defensive items. So if a zombie gets a hold of you and you happen to be facing it when it happens, you can use a defensive item to get the zombie off of you without taking any damage, which is really helpful. It adds another layer to the survival aspect of the game, and you even have the option to, do it manually. You can set it so you gotta push the L button when it happens in order to trigger it. Though I would just set it to automatic because, it's just another unit of health as far as I'm concerned. It's a good mechanic, and I'm glad they brought it for Resident Evil 2 as well. The Resident Evil 2 remake, at least. Man, these pre-rendered backgrounds are incredible. You can't make anything out through the darkness and fog. Yeah, that's something else Chris can't do. He doesn't have the lockpick, so if there's a door that Jill could have just picked herself, Chris actually needs a specific item in order to get at it. That does sort of limit where you can go at first, but that does make the campaigns different enough. Now, what do we have here? Ooh, secret passageway. Very cool. I've always wanted to have a secret passageway in my house. I put an armory in there. Though if you read my blog, I might already have that armory. As far as I know, I don't think this part was in the original Resident Evil game. Despite being a remake of the original, there's lots of added content, and they do mix up the gameplay a good deal, which is good. With horror games, it's not a good idea to rely on the same tricks in order to get the horror across, because whenever you do a sequel, anyone who's gotten into the original product is going to be used to the tricks that were used. So if you just use them again, people are going to say, oh, that's cute, instead of being scared by it. So mixing things up as much as possible is for the best. That was one of the troubles that they ran into with Resident Evil 2 when they were making that game, but that's another story. Yeah, headed down into a crypt in a zombie-infested mansion. What could possibly go wrong here? You know, sometimes I do find it hard to believe that these are pre-rendered backgrounds. Some of this stuff does look 3D, doesn't it? But you can't tell. So here's a major puzzle here. You need to find masks that correspond to these faces right here. I understand that, so I'm not going to bother with it right now. I'm going to head over here. And the atmosphere in this part right here, this is just haunting right here. This looks like something out of Evil Dead or a Dracula movie. It's awesome. A book perfectly fit into the indentation. A book of curses. So is this just a codex of swear words? What is it? There's a key on the back. Want to be sure you examine everything. You never know what will come out of it. The four mask. The mask that speaks no evil. The mask that smells no evil. The mask that sees no evil. And the mask that cannot speak or smell or see evil. When all four fall into place, evil will awaken. You know, based on that, I kind of don't want to do that because I guarantee whatever it is going to jump right out of that coffin there. Man, the ambience here is just fantastic. Like, I know I keep harping on that, but the presentation here is just leaps and bounds over the original Resident Evil. Let's get a move on. The animations are a lot better too. The way Chris moves with his weapons drawn, that actually looks like the way a soldier would walk. With how carefully he places his feet so that he can get into a shooting stance right away. Is there anything over here? I see a gap. Well, there is. What is this? I don't have a shotgun anyway. Well, nothing more out here, so let's just head back inside. And then dogs are still out there. You ever read Hank the Cowdog? Remember the old coyote song? We just a worthless coyotes howling at the moon. I swear I'm 5. Alright, so I'll head through these doors. That almost looks like a gestalt right there. I definitely remember this room from the original game. Very ominous drone there. That's concerning. Give it a little push. Step inside. Step back forward. Put your back into it, Chief. And upsy daisy. There's a map mansion 4F. That's something else that they added that's an improvement on the original game. They actually have a dedicated button for your map screen now. And the rooms are now colored to tell you when there's something in the room that you need to still get. So if it's red like that, that means there's still something in there. But if it's, I want to say beige, that means that there's nothing more in that room and you don't need to be in there anymore. That's good for the sake of progression. And having the map screen mapped to the R button, that's just very snappy. Let's have a look in here. Another dagger. Nothing else in here. I remember the first time I played this, that actually did get me. Okay, so he's got me. I had a dagger on me, which I could drive into his face like that. And now he's dead. Or is he? Yeah, there's blood. Why you can't just take the dagger out of his skull, I don't know, and use it again, that's beyond me, but it would be weird if you could just do that every single time. So it's probably for the best that it's a one-shot thing. Seems kind of a waste, though. Wasn't really a point to me going in there. Oh, I remember this room. Better get ready to run. Ha! Didn't get through this time. So, like I said, when you're making a horror game, you want to be sure you're constantly subverting expectations if it's a sequel, and that's a good example of them doing that. That makes you jump, but then you realize they're not coming through this time. That's good. That was the most famous jump scare in the original Resident Evil, so doing that was a good call. And what's over here? It's locked. See, that's one of the doors that Jill could have picked, but I need an item in order to do it. If I remember correctly, this was that bathroom that didn't serve a purpose in the original game. It's full of dirty water. Remove the plug? If I must. Oh. Again, subverting expectation. I wasn't expecting there to be anything in there. Off. Jen. Pretty sure he's not down for the count yet. I think I need to reload. Nah, he's down for the count. So what's in that bathtub? Okay, so remember I said Chris needs a certain item to unlock doors. He's got stuff like that, which can pick that door we just were at. But it's a one-time thing, so you need to have a steady supply of those if you want to get through doors like Jill can. Wait, is there anything in the toilet? Doesn't look like it's been serviced in a while. Well, I just wasted what was essentially a hit point. And I don't have any room for that key, so I still gotta keep moving forward. Again, I get why the inventory is limited for your guns, ammo, and health, and even your save items. But why does this key need to be here? Can't that just be separate so I can still pick stuff up? All that does is just make for a lot of needless backtracking. Wait, is that the bathroom again? No, it's not. I do know what room this is, though. Ooh, another dagger. Definitely need that. And there's some more ink ribbons here. And of course, we got a shotgun here, which I can't carry, even if that key wasn't taking up space. Definitely need to find a safe room so I can unload the ink ribbons and that knife. Because Lord knows I don't need that knife. Again, it's Resident Evil, so you want to keep enemies as far away from you as possible. Plus, if I took that shotgun anyway, it was set off a trap, and I don't have Barry to bail me out. So, we're just gonna keep moving. A lot of double doors in this place. What purpose does that serve? Whoop. Ooh, headshot. So yeah, if you blow a zombie's head off like that, that's a critical hit. Whether or not you get that is a roll of the numbers though, so don't get too excited. You can't even do that consistently with a shotgun in this game anymore. I don't know why they took that out. That was why you wanted the shotgun in your inventory, because that was just a good consistent way to kill zombies fast. Without it, the shotgun is just a more powerful weapon. And I just realized I can't carry that either. I think this is a safe room right here, so I can unload some of my ammo. Okay, so get my magazine. Might as well save while I'm here. Okay, that's just an awkward spot to put that. Why'd you have to put that right in front of the typewriter? God, that's annoying. I'll clear out my inventory first. Just like in the original game, these are subspace bins, so you can access anything you put in here at any time. Okay, so now I can pick that up. So, and like in previous games, you need ink ribbons to save, so you gotta be careful where you save, otherwise you might soft lock your game. Still mixed on whether or not that's good design or not. What do you guys think? Type it in the comments. And now I'll ditch the ink ribbons because I only save when I'm in save rooms. So you may have noticed this right here. I need to pick this up too. So the fuel canteen. Now, what purpose does that serve? Well, that brings us to another mechanic in the Resident Evil Remake. So you may notice that when you kill a zombie, their corpse doesn't disappear. And the reason for that is if you leave them for too long, there's a chance they could actually get back up and turn into what's called a Crimson Head, which are fast-moving and very dangerous zombies that can really wreck your day if you're not careful. So if you want to prevent that from happening, you need to go around torching the corpses. However, whenever I play this game, I usually don't even bother with that because I have no idea what it is, but every time I go to torch a corpse, that is when they decide to turn to a Crimson Head. So I just don't even bother with that. I'm sure it's different on higher difficulties, but I just don't see the point in it. The Crimson Heads are great in concept, just, you know, let me burn the corpses so I can get something out of the mechanic. Anyway, I think I'm good. I got guns, I got healing items, and I got keys. And I got room for an inventory item if I need it. I really wish I had those 2 extra ones from, I'm gonna take this pot though and put that in the storage bin too. You know, it might actually be pot. It's a herb. Does pot count as a herb? I don't know. I don't care. I do like the music that plays in the safe rooms too. It's very soothing. Lets you know that, yeah, this is a place where you can catch your breath. Now we're gonna head upstairs. Now that zombie, the head I blew off, that one disappeared. Which is a good thing when the head does blow off, because that is a zombie you don't have to worry about anymore. That rule really only applies if the zombie's head is still intact. I hear you, but I don't see you. There you are. Do a quick turnaround. I forgot you could do that in this game. I have been playing the original Resident Evil so I could do an updated review for the blog. And they don't have the quick turnaround in that game, which I forgot how nice the quick turnaround feature is. Reload my weapons. And I can see the pool of blood now, so I don't have to constantly guess if the zombie is dead or not. Ah, great, more pot. Fortunately, I don't think I've taken any damage yet, so I don't even need to pick that up. It's an unlit fireplace. And I do have a lighter in this game. That's something he doesn't have in the original. Now I remember this puzzle. Now I need something to put over top of that. Can't remember what, though. Can't go that way, though. So, back the way we came. I do like that there's a thunderstorm raging outside. That adds to the atmosphere. Especially when you see a clap of thunder light everything up. Presentation here is just leaps and bounds better than the original game. I love it. Did I try to open this door? Of course not. What door is this for? Ah, here's what I was looking for. So I'm gonna go do that puzzle just to get this thing out of my inventory. Plus I get the sense there's something sinister in there. I heard the music jump up. The sound design here is really good too. You actually hear different sound effects depending on what the characters are walking on. That adds to the atmosphere too. Sometimes you keep walking and you swear you hear other footsteps beside your own. Then you stop and don't hear anything. Like, it might not look like I am terribly scared, but that's because I played this game before, but that is something else to be said about this game. It actually is capable of scaring you more than the original release was. Mostly just because of the presentation. Like, I will never get over how bad the voice acting was in the original Resident Evil. I don't know how they shipped that and thought it was okay. So, fun way to get a map. And now I got another slot in my inventory, so we can move on again. I know there's nothing down here, so I'm gonna book it. Alright. What's beyond this door? Well, I know what's beyond this door. I've already been in here. Ah, that music's not picking up. Oh, never mind. There it is. Really is amazing how fast time flies when you're having fun. We're already 12 minutes to the end of the stream. What do we got here? A dog whistle. I don't know if I want that yet. No, I might as well take it. A crumpled memo. Today, Sir Spencer told me to hide something where no one could find it. Well, I had this idea. I figured if I could somehow have it protected by a dangerous animal like the vicious canine that lives here, no one would be able to get near it. As far as I can tell, the mutt is always hanging around the second floor balcony on the west side of the terrace, and he ought to come running at the sound of a dog whistle. This is where you come in. The thing is, I reckon you're the only person that can get near the damn dog without risking serious mauling, which means only you can put this collar on him. The object that Sir Spencer wants hidden is concealed inside. You're the only person I can trust with this. Of course, you'll get something out of it as well. Remember that certain item that you've always wanted to get a hold of? Well, in exchange for your services, I just might be able to get it for you. This could work out well for the both of us. John Tolman. I wonder if he ever got that. You never know with these people. Ooh, ammo. Pretty well stocked, feeling kind of comfortable. Can I pick up this book? Botany, uses of medical herbs. I know this. Anything in here? Doesn't look like it. Oh, it took me back out here. Okay, why is that door only one way? What's the purpose of that? There's something dangerous in here. Made through this door? Nope, not going that way. Sometimes you can tell it's pre-rendered if you look at it up close. That's very clearly pre-rendered right there. Sometimes it's clear, but for the most part, they do a really good job blending it all together. Back up here again. I guess I'll head back. Oh wait, I need to head downstairs. There was something... Ah crap, I don't have any room in my inventory, do I? I'll head downstairs anyway. I think there's a few doors I didn't go through yet. That's just kind of the fun of these Resident Evil games. Just, you loop around, think about where you need to go, and then you just go. Just good pacing. Zombie up there, and this is where I push that statue. There's something I'm supposed to go over there and get. But I don't have any room in my inventory right now, so there's no point in me doing that. Maybe there's a safe room nearby that I can go to unload some stuff. Oh, there's that other zombie. Ha! Critical! It's always fun when the heads pop up. The combat in this game is still very shallow. All it is still just retreating to what you think is a safe distance and just firing your gun. But in that regard, it could be worse. A lot of locked doors in here. And you do have the auto aim, which is nice. That's something that they always insisted on you not having in the original game. Head down into the basement. What could possibly go wrong? Use the mansion key. Oh, this looks inviting. Oh, it's a kitchen. I'm sure that must be inviting for some people, but I guarantee you don't want to be eating anything in this place. There's something on the table there. Pick it up, you idiot. What's sparkling over here? That's another key. That's good. And there's some ammo I want, and I see a body over here. Let's see if he's still alive. Okay, he's not, so I'm good. I get the sense that someone was cooking up a meal in here, but then just suddenly stopped. Again, that's just part of the appeal of Resident Evil, coming to this horrible place and just piecing together what the hell happened. What's in here? Is this guy alive? Doesn't look like it. Parrot isn't on. Well, I guess this was a wasted trip. Guess Guess we'll go back out. I was hoping for a save room. That's what I needed, really. Anything in here? No, I can't open that. Oh, well, that's not good. Well, crapola. Okay. I need to get out of here, see if I can slip around these guys. Looks clear. See you, boys. 3 zombies down there and only had to take one of them out. That is how you do a good job in Resident Evil. Just gotta think smart. And I'm sure there are a few people who are watching this and saying, you don't know what you're doing, dude. You need to do this, need to do that. You know, speedrunners who have played this game so many times that they know it inside and out. I'm not one of those speedrunners. I've only maybe finished this once in my lifetime. But I'm just talking about the mechanics, not what you need to do to play it really, really, really well. And really just the basic stuff that you need to get by, that's what I talk about. I think there were a few doors I couldn't open up this way, so maybe I can open up something with the key in the next 3 minutes. Yeah, we're coming up on the end of the stream. Wait, were there crows in here earlier? It needs to clear those. Very ominous. How's that Edgar Allan Poe poem go? Said the raven nevermore. Go this way. Wait, is that zombie still alive? Doesn't look like it. Oh wait, no, was it forward that I didn't go? Didn't go this way, that's for sure. Oh, well, that's a booby trap if I ever done saw one. Stick to the sides in case there's pressure plates. And we got a key. Unfortunately, I can't carry any more items, so it means nothing to me. I really need to find a save room, though I'm probably not going to find one in the next minute or so. I think that's a good place to call it. Okay, so the Resident Evil Remake, it has still aged, and I only say that because it still uses fixed camera angles and tank controls. Other than that, this game has aged beautifully. The graphics are fantastic. The story, which for Resident Evil was already pretty good, is much better presented with better voice acting, better dialogue. There are very few Jill sandwiches in this game. The gameplay has been polished to a mere gleam. They add some interesting new mechanics with the defensive items and the Crimson Heads. The atmosphere is better, this game can actually scare you, and it's got plenty of extra content too. Like all the cool New Game Plus stuff you had in the original Resident Evil, that's here too. And more importantly, this game is just widely available. You can get this on any console, your PS5, your Xbox Series X, whatever that console is now. It's on Nintendo Switch, it's on PlayStation. So as I said in the Resident Evil video, if you want to play the original Resident Evil, if you want to experience it, this is the game to play. And I can't recommend it enough. I'd be sure to post my review of it. It's still pretty recently to the description. I haven't been doing that with my other videos. I need to be more consistent about that. But yeah, great game. Check it out, especially this season if you're looking for a good game to play for October. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed today's content. If you like my videos, please like and subscribe. I do these videos every week at usually at 8 o'clock. I just did things a little early today because I have plans tonight. And also be sure to check out my blog too. Every time I post something to it, I leave a link in my YouTube community tab. So if you want to see my full written thoughts on things, including character analysis, movie, comic book, and TV reviews, all that good stuff, you can find that on the blog too. I post stuff every day, Monday to Friday, and if you guys are interested, that is. Anyway, hope you guys have a good day, and I'll see you next time. That's that.